Chris, are you in the shot? In the shot, man. In the shot. In the mother shot. All right. There we go. All right. Reaction video. Here we are. Sensible reactions. We're going to do a reaction video about a video called Racism by a gentleman named Adam Calhoun.
A little interesting.
Is that the right name? Adam?
Yep, Adam.
Adam Calhoun. Okay. All right. So I just watched the video. I'm going to react to it. Now, all right. Chris, what do you think of the video? Before I go in, because I'm going you know how I'm going. You know I'm going to have a lot to say about it.
All right. So this video has caused some controversy and been out for a little while. And really, the dude says the N-word in the song. He's a white guy, and he says the N-word.
Several times.
Yes. And so there's a lot of people who've reacted to it over time. And to me, I think the song, what he's trying to do is he's trying to basically say a lot of the bad stereotypes about white people, a lot of bad stereotypes about black people, but then he also goes back and says good stereotypes about the other ones and good stereotypes. So he kind of goes back and forth between them. I guess I really don't really have a place to say if he had a right to say the word. I will say in the video, he's a white dude saying the N-word, and he's got at least, 6 black dudes right around him.
I don't know those people.
And no, but they obviously gave him a pass.
Did they?
Well, they didn't punch him.
Who are they? Just random black people.
I have no idea who they are.
Who knows?
But he didn't get punched in the video, so they gave him a pass.
Or he paid him.
Yeah, maybe. So I don't know. I really don't have a whole lot of a stance to take either way on this video.
I'm going to react on the fly. So I think it was about, I didn't take mental notes or anything, but so I'm just going to go on the fly of things that bothered me and things that I didn't like. All right, number one, he called the video racism. When the beginning of the video is all about white people. What the hell does that have to do with racism?
The first verse in it, though, he was saying basically about how white women are getting beat by white men, saying she wearing wife beaters because her ass is always getting beat. He was talking about how she's smoking like a chimney and the kids can't even breathe in the back seat. So it was about white people, but it was also the very first verse was about the bad stereotypes of white people, of white trash people living in trailer parks.
What does that have to do with racism?
What does that,
What does that have to do with racism? I mean, it's not black people that are calling them that, or any other social group. The song's called Racism, and he talks about white people, like white stereotypes. Why is it called racism? That's not a symptom of racism.
No, but I think from his standpoint, he was wanting. He knew this was going to be controversial. I mean, obviously. I mean, how could you not make a video like this and not know it's going to be controversial?
But why is it called racism?
I think his first instinct is, okay, so I'm going to make a controversial video. I'm going to come out off the gate and say something bad about white folks.
Okay, so I'm leading you. This. Okay. He knew he was going to say nigga several times. So I got to say something that seems offensive to white people in order to make it look like I'm not a racist for saying nigga. Okay. Number one, he called it racism, and the first 2 verses are about white stereotypes. He said hillbilly, white trash, redneck, this, that, and the other. Black people, if it's about race, then those are terms in which white people use towards other white people. Black people aren't really checking for people and saying hey, you cracker, you hillbilly. We don't do that. We're not even really thinking about white people like that much. Racism only comes from a dominant race. So if black people are not the dominant race, they can't instill racism upon white people. So this is how I took it. We're victims too of racism from other white people. That's how I took it. Why he said the white slurs, because he wants to say we're all in the same boat. We're equal. We're all victims of the same oppression. you're not victims of the same oppression. That's absurd, number one. And it's offensive for a white guy to say, now, I do understand. You live in a trailer park. You don't have a lot of money. You're struggling when he pulls up in his Cadillac on 26s. Okay, yeah. It's going really bad for you, Adam. So he goes through this thing where he tries to make it seem like we're all in this together, Yeah,
because that was the end verse where they pin us against each other.
I think that's why
I believe that it's not about a race issue. I believe it's a class issue.
We'll call it classism. Don't call it racism because it has nothing to do with racism. Then he goes and says the N-word several times. I don't care what your point you're trying to make is. You don't say it. Eminem is the greatest white rapper that has ever existed. We do not have him on record saying it, not even once. Yeah. He might even get a pass.
I'm pretty sure if anybody would, it would
if
be
anybody
him.
Gets it, he gets it. He ain't getting it. But if anybody got it, he would get it because he has a certain respect for the culture and he wouldn't do it. This guy has no respect, so he just think, I'm going to be tough and I'm going to say it. I can say it because the point of the video makes it look like we all together and I'm trying to unite us. I'm trying to unite black people and white people because we all poor and we all struggling and everybody hate us. Get that nonsense out of here. That's just utterly absurd. It's not the same. There are no 400 years of oppression. There is no slavery. There's no Jim Crow. You can't call what white people go through racism. It's not racism.
Okay.
If you call it classism, you can do that, but you cannot call it racism. And you cannot make it seem like my struggle is the same as your struggle. That shows the lack of respect that you have for my struggle. Just because there's certain stereotypes that exist. And then he went and said, but there are black parents that got two parents in the home. Another stereotype. So what if you got two parents in the home or one parent in the home? What does that have to do with anything? So the stereotype is always that, the fathers are gone and the mothers are raising the kids by themselves. And so he wants to flip it and say, there are two-parent households. What if it ain't? So what? Who cares if you got raised by one parent? Doesn't matter. What if your parents are divorced? Who cares? They only inflict those stereotypes on black people. And so he threw it out there to make it seem like he was endearing to black people. I didn't take it that way with his Confederate flags and, because the Confederate flag is a sign of racism. And he lifts up the Confederate flag like it's something to be proud of.
Yeah. So if he hadn't have said the N-word in it and everything else had been the same, and say he had...
You got to change the name of the song.
Okay, but say he had one of another black dude.
All right. One other thing I don't like about the random black people standing in the video. Yeah. Why do you think just because there are random black people standing around, it's okay for you to say the N-word? Because these people obviously are cool with me saying it. That really pisses me off when it comes to white people. Because white people, if you get around the wrong white people that have a couple black friends who they outnumber, and they say, we say the N-word and our friends don't mind. Because they're outnumbered and they really can't just whoop your ass. Well, see, if there was 700 black people in a room and one white guy, he went shouting nigga, 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 he would have his ass whooped from here until the sun came up tomorrow. Yeah. So people always pick and choose when they say the N-word, who they say it around. They don't just say it around everybody. Yeah. They ain't gonna walk up to the toughest, looking individuals. I find it funny. Whenever people inflict violence on a group of black people, they always go for low-hanging fruit. So they go to churches. They go, they don't go to Chicago, Southside. They don't go to St. Louis unless they cops, But regular white guys ain't that tough to go run around saying nigga, 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 because they understand the circumstances and I thought it was very disrespectful for him to think that it's okay that I'm saying it because a couple black guys are cool with me saying that. I know a lot of black people who I've seen let their white friends call them nigga. My white friends can't call me that. You cannot call me N-word this, N-word that, because it shows how much little respect you have for me as a black individual. And I think there are a lot of younger black people that have gotten to the point where they just let their white friends say the N-word. No, integration has not done us very good.
No. One thing I will say though is with Greg, I've known Greg for a while, and one thing I will say, you don't really run around saying that all the time though. Like it's not every other word coming out of your mouth either though.
I don't.
So I mean,
I don't feel like anybody should, to be honest with you.
I can remember. So there's a guy who I'm really close with. I met him when I was 18 years old. He ended up becoming my manager. He's a black guy, and we were working, and we had some other guys working with us, and they were using the N-word. They were black dudes saying it, and he stopped and was like, he checked every one of us sitting there. I don't ever want to hear that shit again. And I mean, we were at work. He's like, you can say that outside of work all you want, but while we're here at work, I don't ever want to hear that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's probably what? Damn near 60 now.
Oh, 60, yeah.
I mean, he's getting close. He's in his 50s at least. And I have never once, I've known him since I was 18. I'm 34 now. I have never once heard him use that word in my entire life. And the guy's almost like a father figure to me. We've had a lot of great moments, but and
him being
never
black
once heard him say that.
Justified in saying it.
Yeah, and I've never heard him say it.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, so that's why I said in the beginning, I really don't have a whole lot of opinion. I've heard this song prior to Greg listening to it, and that's why I introduced Greg to this and wanted to get his opinion on it. That's why I felt like I really didn't have a whole lot of stance on it.
Yeah. So this is how you introduced it to me. You gave me a reaction video from a black individual, and he was justifying white people saying the N-word, and he sounded like a total buffoon, and he was the total black stereotype himself of what you might find in that video. Of he was trying to portray that. I don't think he was really that. I think he's fronting. I think he's fake. But he basically said, "Come on, y'all gotta quit tripping. Y'all gotta let white people call us niggas." Are you crazy? Like, how stupid is that? And that's how I didn't even give the actual music video a chance because of what he said. I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm not. I gave about 37 seconds. I was like, no, I'm not watching this. Forget this. So another thing I don't like is these random black people. They're usually young, and honestly, I don't know that they're African American. I don't know that they have that same kind of cultural meaning, So I think these people have come here and have no respect for black people themselves. Yeah, so I don't really feel like these people who justify saying the N-word, I don't know that they have any stake in the community to be saying anything like that. I don't think they have any clout. I don't think they have that same, and I don't know that all black people are created equal, so to speak. I don't think that they were raised with that respect. I don't think, and maybe they aren't, like if you are black, my black isn't necessarily the same kind of black as who's got dark skin and pale people? Italian. The people from Italy have dark skin sometimes. People, they got dark skin.
They do, but
not dark as me, but in India, they're really dark. They got really dark people. I don't know that all black is created equal. There are cultural differences in which, you really can't classify everybody the same. I think that term African American, I don't know why they call it African, but that American black, I don't think it has the same significance. If I was to go to London, they would know I'm American black, and they would just, I would be distinctive.
Yeah.
So I don't feel good about these random individuals justifying saying the N-word or telling white people to call them the N-word and say, it's okay, let them say it. White people, don't go calling your black friends the N-word. It might end up bad. I don't know. If you got them outnumbered, I think it's like every white person has a token black friend. Your token might allow it, but if you're with your token and his black friends, one of them might punch you in the nose. One of them might mess you up really bad. So I'll give you the last word. I've said enough.
Yeah. So I kind of, outside of him saying the N-word, I see his point of his entire message of the song.
I do too.
And I kind of take your part where you said don't call it racism, call it classism, because we have a podcast that's called White Privilege. And my whole point is I don't necessarily believe in white privilege. I believe that there is a difference in classes, that there are super rich people and then there's everybody else. And I believe they pit us against each other.
There's definitely white privilege. And I actually, on the podcast, I didn't actually go into detail. I'll let you just talk on that one. But there's definitely white privilege.
Yeah, we probably got, I think it's like an hour long. Check it out. See what we have to say. But I think there's a classism issue. And
there's definitely a class issue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
but I think that there's a misconception to say that white privilege means every white person is born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I think we're all aware that that's not the fact. I think when you say white privilege, it means you earn a certain privilege by being white that you don't get from not being white, and that's fact. Like if white people get the benefit of the doubt more often than black people, and it's pretty obvious, and. You can't say that the reason Harvey Weinstein never shows up on TV and Bill Cosby showed up every day in court and trial, and then they got a new black guy with a new special, and Harvey Weinstein doesn't have a special. Kevin Spacey doesn't have a special. Elvis doesn't have a special. Not Elvis. Jerry Lee Lewis doesn't have a special, but R. Kelly does. So there is privilege in being white.
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis was with a 15-year-old girl or something.
Elvis married a 14-year-old.
Oh, man. Back then, that was crazy stuff.
That's crazy anytime.
That was Epstein before there was Epstein.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it was just like, and what's the guy from...
There was a movie about Jerry Lee Lewis.
Was it?
There's a whole movie that literally just talked... And that's how I found out. I watched the movie. I didn't even know about it until then.
Did they just have people bashing like they did to R. Kelly?
He didn't look good in the movie, and it was, she was young, and I was watching the movie. I think I was watching it with my wife. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how is this going on? Yeah, and...
Gene Simmons, I think it was Gene Simmons. I shouldn't say his name, but I think it was a guy. It was either Kiss, or was it, it wasn't Mick Jagger. I don't know. It was either the Rolling Stones or one of the Aerosmith or something. One of these rock and roll guys got a little young girl pregnant, and then he set the house on fire. He tried to kill her. Whoa. Never heard nothing of it, have we? No, but it's in his autobiography. I'll look it up. But and then I'll like.
Yeah, I think Bill Cosby was a lot bigger celebrity than this Harvey Weinstein guy, though. Bill Cosby was an icon. Even white and black folks watched him all the time.
I don't think that's why Bill Cosby gets the publicity.
He was an icon. Like, I grew up watching The Cosby Show.
Me Too is the biggest thing since Occupy Wall Street and Tea Party and all that stuff. The Me Too movement is surrounded by men taking advantage of women. And nobody epitomized that. Like
more than that guy.
Than Harvey Weinstein.
Him and Roger Ailes.
Roger Ailes, too. Yeah. I have not heard a word about Roger Ailes. No.
Well, he lost his job. He's fired. He doesn't have...
He owned the company.
And they kicked him out. They kicked him out.
And he's doing okay. Bill Cosby is rotting in a prison somewhere.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein is going to buy his way off. Nothing will happen to him. Harvey Weinstein is not going to jail. That's white privilege.
We'll see.
Deuces.